Hello and welcome to StarMade, and more specifically, welcome to a currently unnamed ship design class specification that is inspired by Star Trek, and I have just started building it. It's basically supposed to be like an NX aircraft, so like the Enterprise series craft, kind of similar to that era. So internally we'll have probably one, two, three decks here, and then I don't know how many more in the engineering section. Right now, these bits that are next to the core are for the, well, next to the ship core, are for the warp core eject. This is the warp core. It's a series of power going straight from the very top of the ship all the way through to the bottom, and it is well, it's called the warp core because it is the warp core. It's its own little separate thing. Obviously that's not actually giving us power due to the way StarMade works, but hey, it's a warp core, and it has a functional eject system and recover system, so you can load the warp core back in after you eject it. So you can see here it has shootout rails at the bottom here, which make the ship say it's 28 meters tall even though it's actually 24 meters tall. And so you can see the warp core is right above that door. This is the button for the recovery system. There's these temporary lights everywhere, you might have noticed. There's also, you might have noticed, there's two shuttles actually in here parked already. So this one is a worker bee. So it's just got some astrotech beams, some engines, power, a docker, and that's all it is. This shuttle is a bit more general purpose. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and open up the force field doors here. Go ahead and load these out here for you to take a look at them. Let's see what happens if I do this. Oh wait. Okay. Uh. Oh shit. Yes, I managed to stop that one while pulling this one out. Now what happens if I tell it to go the other way? Okay, let's not do that. Oh shit. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, did I? Yeah, okay. So we have a medical cabinet here, we have power there, we have thruster, we have a build block there so that you can carry one passenger with you. You have storage, there's a faction unit right here that you can't really see well. There's a shield recharger since there is a built-in small amount of shielding. There is a AI module here, so it can be automated as well. And there's a single cannon with its cannon computer directly under the cockpit core here. The docker is under the middle. So, yeah. It's its own little shuttle, its own little cool thing. Let's go ahead and open this up, which is going to make that go that way, and then decide to turn around, except I'm going to make them both go in, and you can see it slots right in there. And then I haven't built the rest of the docking bay yet, but there will be a docking bay there. And yeah, that's everything right now. You might have noticed on my hotbar I have warheads. And I don't know how much damage they do when they're activated. So I'm just going to put one right there, and I'm going to activate it. Didn't seem to activate. Hold on, let me put one here. Yeah, they look like that. Okay. I would like to... Okay! That startled me. Yeah, so it activated, and that's about how much damage it did. So apparently you can cluster them together to get... yes, I will reboot the ship. Okay, rebooting. So that's going to take 30 seconds. I'll cut back when I'm done. Rebooting at negative 0.1 seconds. Alright, well, while that's finishing or failing to finish, let me go down here and get some buttons. Because, see, I'm just going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to do two experiments. I'm going to do one which is to have a cluster of these, a little block, right? And we're just going to activate this whole big block at once and just see how big of an explosion it gives us. Because apparently their effects stack pretty well when they're combined, so we'll just go ahead and take out the entire front of the ship. That was a pretty good radius of destruction right there. So I'd say if we had... Unfortunately, the amount of warheads necessary to blow up that size, that section, was pretty substantial, so I couldn't really effectively do that around the whole ship. But what I can do very easily is have them kind of interlaced, right? So there's just like a series of small ones. And what I could do is, of course, I've saved this whole thing as a blueprint, so don't worry, I'm not going to, you know, ruin my ship. Well, not permanently ruin it. That already went off there, so I'm just going to kind of skip it like it's, you know, already blown up. And we're just going to kind of, like I said, just kind of line them around there. And then I'm going to put a button down right here. I'm going to go around connecting it to all of the warheads. And now that we have a button that's connected to all the warheads, let's just blow them all. So yeah, you can see we do a pretty good amount of damage to the ship around there. The only downside to having warheads, of course, is that if they get hit by enemy fire, they will detonate just the same as if we had detonated them intentionally. So they cause quite a bit of damage, so you don't want them to be hit, really. And I do want this to have a self-destruct system, though, because it is Star Trek, and Star Trek has self-destruct. I think the majority of them should be along the warp core. In fact, let's do a little test what happens if we have a linear array going alongside the warp core, right? I don't actually want to build something along the side of the warp core simply because it would block the ability to walk up into the nacelle, although that's really supposed to be like kind of an emergency access kind of thing anyhow, so I'm not sure about that. But let's go ahead and get them all the way up here. Like I said, just one big row of them. And what I'll do is I'll use that same button actually, and I'll just connect it to all of them. And we'll take a look at what this does. Pretty good amount of damage. Oh yeah, and it's destroyed the warp core, of course. Yeah, of course it's destroyed the warp core. That's kind of the point of it. Done quite a bit of damage internally to the engineering section. Almost severed, not quite, but almost severed the top here. So imagine if I had a second row of it along the side. That would definitely do that. Pretty nearly does an effective job of destroying the ship, just having it next to the warp core. So the whole thing in Star Trek is that the warp core is kind of like something that can have you like get killed if the warp core goes off. So that might actually be a good idea to do for how we do things. I think that'd be pretty cool. So in any case, I'm going to see if I can spawn that in. I should be able to just spawn it in because I'm in admin in creative mode. That's interesting. It shows us mostly defensive, and we're just gonna call it the NX Whip 2, and it's gonna load a couple hundred meters over. So let's get me a ship to go over there. And which way is it? That's the one we just blew up, and we're gonna do something kind of silly and just fly inside it because why not? Because we can. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set myself symmetry. And actually, I'm just going to build these along the warp core. I'm not going to do anything else. Just right along the warp core. Alright, so, oh, nope, there's one more to build. Alright, so we just have the warp core completely cordoned off. Oh, good, there actually is a little way to, oh, wait, no. The only way to access would be to go where it's going to be filled with something else. So, yeah, there still would be no access up here, which is unfortunate. But in any case, we have, like I said, we have that stuff, and we're just going to get a button, put it right there, hit C on that, hit Shift V, and blow the warp core. Wow, that's quite bad. All right, so if it weren't for the fact, like I don't have the sever like system turned on right now, so this didn't sever the it didn't sever the top piece off, but if I did have that setting on, it would have. And oh, very nearly would have severed the bottom as well, which would have been pretty cool actually to sever the engineering, blew away a good part of the worker bee there, so we actually can't do repairs from it because it's damaged too badly to actually be useful. Pretty symmetrical damage, which is what you'd expect because it was a symmetrical explosion, right? Yeah, it would sever the top. It would almost sever the engineering, which I'm thinking about adding some more explosives to make it so that it would sever engineering as well. So it would really fuck up the core of the ship. Let's go ahead and load one more of these things in, just to see what. That's the wrong button. Just to see what would happen if we had one of these things, what you call it, as a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's, I'm going to do a ring of explosives around the inside saucer. Yeah, and unfortunately it tells me rail dockers instead of the actual names of those ships, which is unfortunate. On the bright side, it doesn't give away that the warp core is actually a warp core. Alright, so we have an entire ring of explosives now. Put the button down, connect it, and let's blow this joint. Ooh, that is a nice, just severs it. Ooh, neatly severed it. Just split the whole thing in half like that. Yeah, that's pretty effective. Just having a ring around like that is pretty damn effective. Of course, in the actual design, I want to have like the very exterior to be like crew quarters. So that ring wouldn't be you wouldn't be able to build that ring exactly. Although it will be pretty cool to hopefully. What is that indicator at the top? Probably severe damage or something. Uh, just a guess. I don't know. In any case, I want to definitely build in a ring of explosives. Well, maybe. I'm not sure. I like the idea of the small individual things going off more so, and the warp core. Although I wouldn't have it go all the way into the top because the I want that area to be accessible. So like just imagine a combination of what the saucer looks like on this one, minus the big gaping hole. Just kind of these small riddled with holes kind of thing, and the hole like severing the top off. And that would be pretty cool. Oh yeah, and severing the bottom off. I definitely want to make it so it'll do that as well. So yeah, that's kind of where I am now with this design, just getting started. And I want to make it blow up in a pretty way when it blows up. So thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in space.